I've ever seen at any show I've been to. We were bowled over by it when it first appeared to celebrate 100 years of 1914 and the outbreak of war. Last year, the management here at the show took a very, very sensible decision to maintain it for the duration of hostilities 100 years on. And here we are now, going back 100 years to 1915, the year that the Army. It's our honour to welcome you back to the Commentary Box, sir, and we are looking forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thank you very much. Well, the first thing I have to do, of course, is echo what's been said, that Martin and Rowley and the team here have done a quite remarkable job in recreating this section of the Western Front. They've done a brilliant job. It's one of the best and most extensive systems that we have ever had the privilege to operate within. And it's our job here, as the 10th Essex and the Royal West Kent's Living History Societies, to try and bring that trench to life in an everyday fashion. This is not a battle recreation, particularly in this centenary year. We feel that's rather a distasteful thing, because around about 90% of the time the troops were stationed in frontline areas doing virtually nothing. It's the day-to-day existence which is not so well documented. And if you're researching something like your family history, this is the kind of thing which your grandfather, great-grandfather, great-uncles, whatever, would have been doing most of the time. So we're recreating as best we can a complete day in a trench from stand to in the morning to stand to at night, when all of the troops got onto the parapet, got onto the fire step, looked over the front parapet and waited for an attack, which most of the time never materialised. Dawn and dusk was always considered the most advantageous time for an army to attack, and both armies adhered to much the same principle, so both knew what was coming or not, as the case may be. And during trench warfare, which is trying to stave off boredom for the most time and catch up on sleep. Now, we have snipers, we have rifle sections, we have machine gunners, we have Royal Engineers, all in their various sections. We've got a medical section down there, and one of the chaps in our medical section has recently just left the Royal Army Medical Corps for real, so he's done it in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. So he brings real battlefield experience, and he will tell you, for example, that most of the tricks and techniques they use in the front line today to treat casualties have their origins back in the First World War. So there is a definite connection to be drawn across the century between what was innovative then and what has been innovated. For lunch, and once that's been prepared in the First World War field kitchen, which has been on loan from Aldershot, that will be transported to the trenches in insulated boxes, just as it would have been back then. Obviously it's only 50 to 100 yards now, but it would have been a couple of miles back then. And those hay boxes would have done a pretty fair job in keeping the food hot, because the army took supplying its troops with good food very seriously. Although nutrition lists as we know them didn't exist back then, the army was very well aware that it needed a good varied diet of around about 4,500 calories per day to make sure that the troops had the energy to keep doing what they had to do. Because don't forget, there's no heating in a trench, you've got to stay warm, and to do that you need a constant supply of decent food. So the lunchtime is the big...
Which I can't remember the rest of the words, never get a bit of